Hey there, and welcome back to the channel. Back on the Goldwing project today. The main goal for today is to get the front end torn down. We're going to start with undoing this nest of wiring, getting that labeled as far as what needs to stay and what needs to go, pulling whatever out that doesn't need to be there. For example, this harness that goes to the fairing, don't need any of that. This bucket gets replaced by the headlight bucket. That's the one that goes behind that weight that I took off for riding with the fairing. Also take off brake lines, undo the lines for the front forks, and we'll take the front wheel off, get all that off, get the triple trees off so we can get them onto paint. That's the main goal, is get these off so I can sandblast them and get them masked and ready to hand over to the powder guy, because here within the next week or so he'll be ready to shoot color, and he'll be doing the levers and the perches on both sides and the triple trees all in red, and those are going to be kind of accents to match the red and black body panels. So I've got the jack set up underneath there, but first I'm going to put you in a stand and we're going to take care of this wiring mess. Now the fun part. Let's see if I can feed this through. Nice, nice. This is one of those things that you don't want to dive into until you've got a wiring diagram. Color wiring diagrams are great and all, but sometimes those colors don't quite come through as well in the book, you know, quite the same as they are in real life. Like this one's got a white and green, and that one's just plain white. This one's brown and red, and that one's just brown. So things like that, I like to take pictures of those connections. Just for easy reference later on, when and if I get confused why the colors on the diagram don't match up with my 40-year-old faded wiring. A lot of these connections can be real stiff too, because they haven't been apart for 39, 40 years. There we go. That's out of the way. Now we can take the instrument cluster off. Oh, isn't that cute? Looks like I gotta undo some air lines. There we go. So there's the old instrument cluster off, which I have a new one to replace it with. So don't need this anymore. I'll just expertly catalog this over here. Looking a lot more bare up front there already. I'm about to get a whole lot worse. So guess next is handlebars? Sure. So to undo these 4 Allen head bolts. These clamps I don't have to worry about getting repainted because I've got new ones. Not a new clamps, but it's a dog bone, a chrome one that goes over here. It's got the Goldwing logo on it. It's pretty sweet. There we go. Just set these aside. And we can get these brake lines out of the way too. There's a hook at the back here that goes over that main harness. And all this stuff, including this shell of an old Speedo cable, all gets to come out. Alright, it looks like we're ready to take the front wheel off. Okay, I lied. We can go ahead and get this ignition off of here too, since it has to come off the triple tree anyway. And for taking the wheel off, there's two caps, one on each side, and 2 nuts on each. They're 14 millimeters. I've got the jack supporting the bike underneath the engine. I've already had it off once before. If you've seen the previous video, I think it was actually the first video of this bike. The front wheel was locked up because one of the previous owners had put this front wheel back on with the axle backwards, so the spacer was over here instead of over there, and that caused the rotor to basically just be jammed against the caliper brackets. So we got our end caps off. The front wheel is free. And we just need to lift the bike up some more with the jack. Front wheel comes right out. I just wanted to take a minute to show you one of the reasons I wanted to take all this apart, besides just to paint the triple trees. They just, those bearings are trashed, or over tight, or both. Either way, not something I want to be riding around on. Like, right, yeah, nah. Tops are 10 millimeters, and the bottoms are 12. Not damaging anything. But that was enough. That's all we really needed. Of course, I gotta take that air fitting out. That's a 10mm. There we go. There's the left fork out. Same thing on this side. So it doesn't get misplaced. Just a very gentle prying action is all it took over there, so go. Right fork out. Just as my luck goes, the camera asked for a new battery while I was whaling on this thing. So let's continue the whaling. There you go. That's getting replaced for sure. It's just been beat on too many times. Not putting that back on. 14. There you go. Top one off. So, I had a feeling that this wasn't set up right to begin with. I noticed as I move this around, sometimes that top nut moves. So, I'm pretty sure it was over tightened. Got some roller bearings. Have to clean those up and see if they're usable. Might just be worth replacing them though. I'll have to see how the race looks on that bottom side. And there's the top end. And that grease just feels sticky. It's like glue. Ugh, that's nasty stuff. So I'm going to set this aside somewhere and we'll take a look at the races in there. So I don't know how well you can see that, but there's some lines there. I can't tell if those are metal flakes or what, but some of this just might be old grease that needs cleaned up, because this stuff is this thicker than anything I've put in as bearing grease. It's just gooey. So I might try to clean these up and take a look at the other side of these bearings and see how they look before I order a new set, but it might just be a better idea to replace them anyway. I haven't made up my mind yet. May let the cost of the parts decide that one. But I still want to clean this up just to see how everything looks underneath all this old grease. So there it'll sit, headless, and until I have parts ready to put it back together. And hopefully that's not too long. But that's it for this one. So we're going to leave this video, and we'll be back on this one soon. Thanks for joining me. I'll catch you next time.